Welcome to the Friday night review the market session. Let's have a look. I only look at a sample things just to know what is really happening. And the reason why I look at the monthly and the weekly charts, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, more money is made from trading monthly and weekly charts than anything else, unless you're a quant, unless you've got one of those high frequency trading systems that are trading like scalping and getting a little bit here, thousands of times a day. But in Jesse Stein, is it? I think it is, who wrote that book, Super Stocks, talks about it. I price this a brilliant book. I highly recommend everybody reads that book. It's got some fantastic information in it. And it talks about how he took, I think it was 25,000 and turned it into 7.8 million. Now, I know people are going to go, oh, I'm going to read that book and I'm going to copy his strategy, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, now, let's have a look at the markets. What's going on? From this point in time, when I was saying the market is in an uptrend, I was doing webinars in 2011 saying everybody should be up long the market. I remember there's that candle there. And then there was this point here when I did the webinar. If you can remember, it was a day called Watch Stockhausen Trade or Trade with Stockhausen. So basically, the indexes are in an uptrend. And what I find interesting about this whole thing is, and I like to look at these emails, but I don't because I'm fully aware of the fact reading these emails will have a negative impact on you. But the amount of emails I've seen all the way up saying, okay, this time we think it's going down. 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 And it's done nothing but continue to go up. And the amount of people that have not got in because they're seeing this message telling them it's going to go down. And people turn into sheeple and they follow what some guru tells them. And then finally somebody's saying now, oh, it's going up. I'm expecting the market to go up, which is scaring me. Because this particular person has been saying all the time it's going down, is now saying it's going up, which makes me start thinking, they've been wrong all the time, so maybe they're wrong now. So, but I'm not going to use that as my system because I haven't tested it enough, but that's what I've seen them consistently do, scare a big, large number of people out of taking what could have been one of their best opportunities in their whole account. And all they've had to do was get long the market. And if you know Ron Ionari, brilliant guy, teaches some fantastic stuff, and you've just bought an 80-85 delta option, so you've got limited risk with all the potential upside. You've got the element of leverage, but you're not using margin. You could have been riding this thing all the way up and taking money off the table all the time. So that is the ES. Is this set up for one of Patrick's famous Stockhausen trades that I pointed out many times? One was here, one was, well, I didn't say that one there to everyone because I took that one and I didn't want to say that. But I did there. I told everyone there. Told everyone here. Told everyone here. Told everyone here. Told everyone here. Right? This is not set up for a Stockhausen trade. Even if it was, does it mean it's going to work? No. It's a probability numbers game. You don't know what's going to happen. Right? On the next trade, you have to think about this in a series of trades. I just know statistically the odds are in my favor. But if you were in this, if this sets up again, am I going to take the trade? Yes. Would I send you an email out saying it's set up for a Stockhausen trade? Yes, I will. Okay, I'll alert you. Does it mean it's going to work? No. But you have to keep that in your mind, okay? And if you didn't take it all the way up and you take it now and then go, oh, I can't believe it. He's just giving me a trade and it didn't work and he's rubbish. I've been telling you to take it all the time, all the way up. So that's not, whose fault is that? That's not my fault. And I'm not telling you to take any trades that I recommend. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So in terms of the indexes, yes, they're in an uptrend for me. And I'm long and I'm staying long. Let's have a look. So the YM, obviously that's the same thing. The Russell, obviously in the same thing. The Dow, obviously, in the same thing. The NASDAQ, well, I'll tell you what I find interesting about this. Is that somebody, you see this point here, the highest point here, do you know what that actually means? Somebody bought it of somebody else, and nobody else thought it was of value. And there's only three ways to make money in the stock market or in any market in the entire world. You either buy something of value, you sell something over value, or you provide a product or service of value. And that is all there is. So all you have to do is identify for yourself what is value. Some people use moving averages. Some people use the Bollinger Band. Some people use that thing called a, fib grid, rather. Some people use, you know, Bollinger Bands, whatever, Fibonacci lines. It's up to you, right? So there's no such thing as the perfect way to recognize value, but your system just says this is value. What's interesting is this is almost come back up to here, and people talk about this phenomenal run in the market and this tech boom. But this is obviously a steeper, more inclined, a steeper incline. But you know what? You've been getting the same opportunity since 2009 to capture the same amount of money. Gold. This is not a trade for me. I'm not a bottom fisher, and I find this interesting. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this, right? I am a trend trader. I like to trade trends. Doesn't mean I'm going to get the bottom. Doesn't mean I'm going to get the top. Here's how I think about this. If this is a fish, okay, you get these people that go, I'm going to get the top. And someone sent me an email saying, I tried to short the market all the way up. So what they're trying to do is get the very top of it. Or you find someone trying to get the very bottom of it. Now, here's what trend followers like to do. They go for the meat, this bit. They're not interested in the head. They're not interested in the tail. They just want the main meat, the chunk, the fleshy bit of it. So when a trend is established, that is what they're trading. That is a lot easier than trying to get all of this bit and this bit. And this bit tastes nasty, and this bit tastes nasty. Who wants the eyes and the teeth and the tail? Nobody. You want the fleshy bit. So I like to go for the main trend. So if I don't see a trend, does not mean, oh, your system's rubbish. No, I just like to trade trends, and that is it. And this is not a trend for me now, particularly what's going on down here. We was shorting this all the way. So, and now, you know, this is not an uptrend, so there's nothing here for me to do. Silver, if I show you another chart on Telechart, you can see a 500 moving average on the weekly, which is what it bounced off. Brilliant David Elliott material. If you've got David Elliott's material, well done. If you could somehow get hold of a copy of his 12, I think it was 12 or 13 part video course called AET, Advanced Equity Trading, phenomenal course. Amazing. Some of the best technical analysis material I've ever come across, which has helped me to do what I do. Bond market, nasty, not my thing. Not my thing. And yeah, you see, who knows? Now I've said this before in videos, okay? And if I do that noise, like here's what happened. One of my rules is if I do that noise, and if I'm unsure, it means I'm not allowed to take it because it means I'm not clear about what's going on. But I like to trade stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Okay, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. I only trade this trade on the way up, and this on the way down. Any of this sideways stuff, I'm not interested in it. So, how these bonds movers like. Is not beautiful in all honesty. I used to intraday trade them, but see, this could go back this way. This could go back that way. I have no idea. So I won't stay in it. My rule is, and I know myself, if I go, it means I'm not 1,000 or 100%, 1,000% sure. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. So I'm staying out. Okay. If in doubt, stay out. I want the easiest. Do you know what I find interesting? Is that amateurs will try and go for some real tricky trade and get some pride and sense of glory out of making money out of it. And professionals will just look for this real simple, easy trades. And as Jim Rogers said in Market Wizard's book, he says, I sit there and I wait for an opportunity. Like the money's on the floor, I walk over, pick it up, and I walk back off. And that is what your trading is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be easy, waiting for the easy opportunity. You're not supposed to take every single trade because you're being stupid. You're playing into somebody else's hand. You're playing somebody else's game. They're setting you up to take the money out of your pocket. Avoid those trades. Wait for the clear, simple, easy trade. That is how you win. I always say this. Where do you see money? Do you see money easily on a monthly chart, a weekly chart, a 2-day chart, a 1-day chart, an intraday chart? Wherever you see money, wherever you see value, the easiest. is the time frame that you should be trading. Well, an indication of the time frame you should be trading, because if you're seeing money easily on a 5-minute chart and it's simple to you, but you've got a full-time job, you've got a whole different sort of problems. But you understand my point. You've got, where do you see money easiest? Stick with that. For me and my brain, I used to do intraday trading, but I see money, big money, really easy on a monthly, weekly chart. So I've stopped doing intraday stuff. I just do the monthly and the weekly charts for multiple reasons, as I just said, from what Jesse Stein says in his book and for what I've just said now. Look for where you see money easily and don't bother with anything else. Oil, sideways. I'm not playing. Haven't played this for absolutely ages. Dollar, probably going sideways. I'm not playing it, not touching it. Property market, RIR, going up, bam. And that's it. And that is how I play the markets. And that is it. Do you know, I've seen so many studies of people having a small list. There's a great company called INO. And the guy in there had this system where he was trading something like 8 things, 8 instruments, and that was it. And he beat every hedge fund in the world with his system, trading only 8 markets. You can do so well trading just a few indexes on the big main things, the big main asset classes. But people are still there busy trying to pick stocks and all these things like this. You could probably do so much better, more concentrated, focused, looking at a few number of things and just waiting for the best money-making opportunities. Okay? Now, if you're wondering what this number is here, and I thought I'd just actually mention this here. I'll tell you what this is, right? I have a group of students that I mentor, and I said to them, if you want to know if you can handle $1 million, I'll tell you what you do. Get this thing called Swim, put it on paper, put it to $1 million, okay? I think it gives you 1,000,001 because it's combined, isn't it? It combines another account. It gives you 1.1 million. And we're going to trade an account. And we're all going to do the exact same strategy. And here's what it was. I had somebody come in and teach them a strategy. So they all understood options. But I had Ron Ionari come in. And Ron Ionari taught them how to do diagonal spreads. So everybody understood it. So they had a phenomenal teacher teaching them phenomenal stuff. And said, this is how we do it. And I said, right, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to do diagonal spreads on the SPY. And everybody's going to do that. Okay? And everybody sort of the same sum of money. So let's see if you can handle $1 million. Because I said, if you start paper trading, and I highly recommend you do this, so you know if you want, if you haven't got $1 million, you know up front you could handle and grow $1 million and keep it. Now here's what was interesting. After having had the same instructions, having had the same education, having had the same balance of the account, some of them started doing different indexes, different trades, different systems, different markets. Some of them said to me, oh, I've lost a load of the money. Some of them says, oh, I'm up a little bit. Some of them are up massive and stuff like this. Different ranges. And I thought, how is it? Everybody has been given the same instructions, the same amount of money, the same everything. And people think, oh, no, as soon as I get a system, I'll be making money. I think one of them is doing, I can't remember what he's at. Russ, what are you at now? I think he's at 1.3, 1.4, including that 1,000. Is that correct, Russ? I think that's what you can just type in there what you are at. One of them at that. Well, I couldn't believe one of them went and lost money in a phenomenal, one of the best bull markets there's possibly been. Now, could it have been, it could have been, so this has been since, when's this been since December, the beginning of December, all right? That's since the beginning of December 2013 to now, okay? So that's what it's gone from. It's gone from that to that. Doing a simple strategy. You're at 1.4. Well done, you. Right? So what's interesting is I find it fascinating how people couldn't do, or everyone couldn't do the exact same, get the exact same results. And it's their psychology. People think, no, it's the system. It's the psychology. I know you're biased. No, it's the truth. You've seen it. The same system, the same education, the same knowledge. They're phenomenal upmarket. Some of them lost money. Okay? Let me show you this. Because I find this, I love this. I love this. Because I said to somebody said to me, so if everyone attended your course, would they all make money? And I said, no, they would not. And here's why. And it's the same for me. It's the same for any other educator out there, for anybody in the world. Here is the truth of the matter. Unless you have, now if I had the same type of people, they would all make money. But here is a simple fact. Only, let me show you this spreadsheet first. Let me show you this presentation first, okay? And this should hammer the point home for you. Right. Now, here's what's interesting. In the world, that's how many millionaires there were. And you've seen this slide before. Between like 1% and 3%. Sometimes you get people say 1% and 5%, whatever, right? But that's how many people are millionaires. Now, here's the film industry. You know, we see all these figures. We go, Leonardo DiCaprio made 37 million, Tom Cruise made 75, The Rock, Adam, they're making vast sums of money. So people go, I want to be an actor. But do you know what? Here's what's interesting. But they're one of the 1% to 5%. Right, see, 72% of actors make less than $5,000 per year. Dollars. That's like £20 in English money. And of the top 5%, less than 2% of them make enough money to own a Bentley. Most actors don't move beyond the poverty line. So, here's what else is interesting. Golf. I used to work with some brilliant golfers. Used to transform golfers' performances using my psychological stuff with them. Now, we see these numbers. You go, God, these golfers are making so much money. But here is an interesting point. What percentage of golfers actually are successful? Do you know? PGA statistics show that the world's leading golfers spend 95% of their time losing tournaments. Since 1994, only 8 golfers a year, 4%, won more than one tournament a year. Only 10% ever win a tournament any year, and 86% of golfers never win a tournament. Despite the 53 million golfers in the world spending $4.7 billion a year on golf clubs, balls and gadgets, 19.7 billion pounds on public and private greens, despite 60,000 golf teachers giving lessons every week, the average golfer has not got any better. In other words, equipment, coaches, lessons are not enough to improve the golfer's performance. There's obviously a missing ingredient. Sound familiar to something else? We all know about this Harvard study. I've spoken about this, about the number of people that set goals and how these people that did set goals earn more money than everybody else combined together. Right? According to, right, so that's that. If 1,000 companies start today, 1,000, within 5 years, 800 of them will have failed. Of the 200 left, with next 5 years, 160 will have failed. Only 40 will survive past 10-year mark. Even more tragic is 94% of those companies that last the initial 10 years period are only just scraping a living. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. So, you think you like reading books and learning. Now, I question, do you? Of all the books purchased in the world, only 5% are read beyond the first chapter. Of all the books that are read all the way through, only 5% of the people that read a book on how to change your life actually apply what they learn. So, if everyone studied and did my material, would they transform their trading results? No. And here's why. Because most people won't actually go off and apply it. I bet you, if you look on your bookshelf, if you look at all the course material, everything you've studied about trading and investing, you will see you've probably studied a fraction of it and applied a fraction of what you know. And I always say this, most people know how to change their life, but they don't do it. They don't apply it. Some people have a love of learning, but not applying. You've got to apply. And the words of John D. Martini, a great phrase. You know what you should be saying to yourself every single day? I am a genius and I apply my wisdom. And say that until you keep doing it. Right? You need to apply this knowledge in order to transform your life. If you're studying it and getting a good feeling. Some people buy books and they put the books on their shelf and they get this good feeling. They go, I now own the book. I feel good inside. Or they learn some course and they go, I feel good now. But they've only learned it and they've not applied anything. And they go, why is my life not changed? And they go, that course was crap. And you think, did you apply what you learned and how much of it? And I've had people say to me, I won't say the name because they said to me, stop saying my name because people keep phoning up this company and asking for me questions going, what did you do with Patrick Stockhausen? How did you go from there to there? Right? That particular person had sessions, demanded that I call them every single week. And give them one-to-one additional coaching, and they applied every single, I'll tell you what, it inspired me to speak to them because they went off and they applied it. They applied everything and they got the result by applying. So I ask you this, how many of the books on your shelf have you actually read? How much of that material is on your courses on trading, investing, and wealth and psychology and life transformation have you read all the way through? How much of that information that you have actually read have you actually applied and given it 100%? I would guess of the people that are listening to this, only 5% maximum of an extreme can say all of it. 95% of the people listening to this are going to say, you're right, that's me unfortunately, but I'm getting better. Okay, I'm going to start applying. Say to yourself right now, I am a genius and I apply my wisdom. That is a difference. That makes a massive difference. Okay? Now, it's the same thing in trading and investing. From the study from Brad Barber did the study, 8% of trading investors actually lost money, and only 1% were considered predictably profitable. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell you this, okay? The universal truth for what you really want from trading. But let me tell you this to you. I have had somebody watch me trade, and they shall remain nameless to protect their name and their reputation. And all they had to do was take my trades. So they see me winning consistently. And I said, just take my trades. And they were taking my trades because they lost their blown account. And they doubled their account in a matter of weeks doing this. And somehow they had a conversation. This was the deal. And I said to them, I'll tell you what, I will do this for you, but you haven't got the money to pay me, so you just pay me a percentage of the profits. Now, they went off and spoke to somebody about it and said, oh, I don't think it's fair that I have to give you this percentage of this money. Why don't you just teach me psychology? And I said, but I have. But I'm trying to help you to grow your account. I don't think it's fair, and these people think it's not fair. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll let you go off and go and think about that and come back to me. And they came back and they said to me, no, I'm just going to listen to your psychology stuff and I'm going to do my own trading. Now, I know what the real problem was. They had a desire to press the button because sometimes there was no trade, but they hated not taking trades. And as I said, I like to trade and wait for the best and an easy and a simple opportunity, which is why they were able to double their account in less than a month. I just go, wait, this was intraday trading that I did with them. And they doubled their account. And then they said, no. It was the waiting. They didn't like the waiting for these opportunities. They didn't like making money easily. They wanted to make it hard. So I said, all right, you go off and do your own thing. And do you know what happened? They blew the account in a matter of weeks. It is not the system. In that way, in what happened there, I was technically the system that was giving them the ins, the stops, the exits. It is not the system. It is the psychology. But so, one of the key things that stop that person from actually succeeding, one of the key things that's stopping you from succeeding is the following things. And I heard this from Tony Robbins, brilliant man, brilliant teacher, fantastic storyteller, right? I heard him say most people are trying to get something in the future that they already have right now. And here's what it is. People are trading, trying to get this wealthy thing, but they're in the wrong state. You have to trade and feel wealthy now. First feel wealthy, then get rich. Then getting rich is 1,000 times easier. If you feel poor, if you feel like you're struggling, it will affect your decisions and your actions. Listen. You do not do with money what you think about money. You do with money how you feel about money. If you feel poor, you will do poor things. If you feel struggling, you will do struggling things. Your emotional state will affect your decisions and your actions. So you need to get yourself to feel wealthy first. Not rich, you know, the sense of what you really want from the money. Wealthy. So I saw something and I thought, I've just thought of a better way of actually doing that. From my understanding of psychology and the mind, and I've put this in layman's terms for you. I'm going to tell you how you can get the real feeling that you're actually truly after by having the money. And I'll tell you this right now. Every single body watching this, listening to this, I don't care if you hear this today, tomorrow, a month from now, a week from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If this video outlives me, the answer to the final thing will be the same for every single human being, right? It will be the same for everybody because you're all ultimately after the same thing. And I'm going to tell you how to feel that thing and how ultimately I can get this wealthy feeling now to help you, to put you in the right state so you can start doing some better trading and investing and make some better decisions when it comes to money, because you're thinking from a poor or struggling or lack of or whatever state, something that you haven't got. And this is going to help you. So, yes, I'm giving it you for free. Right, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Now, if the spelling is incorrect on here, I'm sorry. Spelling is not my thing. Just get a proofread of all your money. Listen, just do it. Right? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I want you to answer this question. You're going to have to answer these questions, and I want you to think about the feeling. I don't want an intellectual answer. I don't want this, oh, that will help me to, change my identity. That's some words that you've heard me or you've read in some book. I am on about what is the feeling? What is the emotional sense that you're going to get? What will it do for you? What will it give you? So, let me show you the questions, right, rather than keeping you on the edge of suspense. Here's the 3 questions. The first question is, what's important to you about achieving financial success or freedom? What will it do for you? What will it give you? What will it enable you to experience? Now, I don't know what you're going to say because I'm not there, right? But you'll hear people say things like freedom, choice, or opportunities or whatever, right? I don't know, but you will have an answer, and I'm going to tell you to write down what will it do for you, what will it enable you to experience, what will it give you, what will it enable you to experience in life. Okay, now then I'm going to ask you, whatever you answer, I want you to think of that answer, and I'm going to ask you what's important to you about achieving that, about what you've just said, the answer to number 1. And then I'm going to ask you to say, ultimately, what is important to you about achieving that? Ultimately, what is ultimately about answer to number 2, ultimately, what is important to you about achieving that? Now, you statistically, if you do this correctly, will write the exact same answer as every single body else in the world for number 3. You all ultimately comes down to one thing that you really want. Okay. Now, is this easy to do? It depends who you are. Some people are, there's a chap called Howard Gardner, and he wrote a book called Multiple Frames of Intelligence, and talks about the different types of intelligence, because traditionally we think of intelligence in a scholastic sort of sense. But there's actually multiple forms of intelligence. You can get kinesthetic intelligence, people who are good at sport. You can get linguistic intelligence. You can get people who are artistic intelligent. You can get people who are music intelligent, people who are spatial intelligent. You get people who are intrapersonal or interpersonal intelligent, know themselves, good with knowing themselves, their emotions, and their drives and their psychology, and there's people who are good with knowing other people. Get environmental intelligence. There's different forms of intelligence. Now, people who have a highly developed sense of know themselves and the drives, this is like, oh God, that's easy. They can answer that straight away. I'm not saying there's a particular type that will struggle with it, but I'm just saying that type of person will go, right, I know, because they know themselves. So if you sit there and you think, what's important to you about achieving financial, I want you to go for the feeling. What you have to do to answer these questions is imagine that you have the financial success or the freedom or the independence, whatever term it is you use. Imagine you've got it, and then think, what does this enable me to experience? And then tune into the feeling. And then once you've got that feeling, right, write it down. And then think what's important to you about that. Then go back to that place in your mind, think about it, and go, what does this ultimately enable me to? Then write it down. And then go, ultimately, what does this enable me to experience? And then write that down. Okay? Then, here's what you're going to do. Because you're going to write the same thing. Once you've done that, I want you to understand you already have those things in your life right now, all those 3 things. Because I'm going to ask you to do this. You're going to write down, list 5 to 10 things that you do right now in your life that enables you to experience that feeling right now for answer number 3. 5 to 10 things, number 3. Because the reason why I'm saying 3, because that's the ultimate thing that you really want. So we put it first. Then we're going to go, list 5 to 10 things, 5 things you do right now in your life that enables you to experience that feeling right now for answer number 2. And then going to do the same for answer number 1. And then what you're going to then do is every day review your list. Review your list every day and associate into that feeling. Those feelings, rather, so that you feel you have what you really want now. Does that make sense? So that's what you really want the money for. That's what you associate as wealth. Then go after getting rich, financially rich and free, because you'll associate into the feeling. You won't have the sense of lack of. You'll have the feelings that you truly desire that will make you feel wealthy. The funny thing is, as soon as you have those bits of paper or those zeros in your bank account, right, positive zeros with some numbers on the end, you're going to then go, oh, I can now feel that feeling I really wanted. Suddenly, you'll give yourself permission to feel all those feelings. But you've actually, you're associating, thinking, if I get that, then I'll allow myself to feel that on a consistent basis. But I only have glimpses of these things. But you don't. You have it all the time. But you're kind of disassociating from it, and you're thinking the thing between me and having that feeling all the time is money. It's not. You have it all the time. So you're going to do that. Write 5 to 10 things that you do now that make you experience it. 5 to 10 of those, 5 to 10 of those. And then review that. And then when you do it in your mind, don't just read it. I want you to step into those experiences in your mind, seeing what you see, hear what you hear, feel how good you feel, so that you feel wealthy now. And that's my gift to you. Because once you're feeling that way, financial decisions become a lot easier. You don't make good decisions feeling poor or struggling. You make terrible ones. Your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. So what we're going to do is we're going to control the thoughts, which control the feelings, which control the actions, which controls your financial destiny.
If you're coming from thoughts of poverty and lack,
yeah,
in your mind,
yeah,
then that's what you're going to get more of.
Yes, exactly that.
Until you can change it to one of the feeling that you want from being rich.
Yes.
Discover what the feeling is that you want to have and have it.
That's correct.
Be it each day.
Yes. Right. So I've just done this with somebody. And here's what they answered. As she said, I said to her, what's your answer to number 1? She said that'll give her a sense of peace. I then, number 2, said, what's important to you about having that sense of peace? What would that do for you? She said, be unafraid, should be unafraid, basically open to the world. Number 3, ultimately, what will that do for you? She says, live fully. I'm sorry if you can't read this, but you'll spiritual unity, find love in the universe. Right. This is the essence of everything. What you're trying to feel, what you're trying to get to. That feeling there. Okay? I've seen people write, I'd have a better connection with my family. No, they said that sense of freedom. What would that do for you? So, connection with their family. What would that do for them? Experience sense of love. I've seen people say, do something in the world that to be how they perceive, something to do with how they're perceived in the world. What would that do for them? Sense of love from these people. In essence, that is what it comes down. I'll tell you what my own answers was. When I answered it, it shocked me when I wrote this down. Okay, I said, what's important to you about this? I said I'd have a sense of accomplishment and significance and stand out. I said, what's important to you to do that? I said, I'd feel like I mattered, and I was important. I thought, really? Oh my God. And I thought, what's important to you about feeling like you matter? I feel like important, as important. Yeah, it was something like I was important, and mattered. That's correct. I said, what was that? What brought you about that? I said that I feel like I deserve love. Now, in essence, that's how my brain is therefore saying to me, I have to stand out, do something different, be unique, something like that, in order to matter, in order to get to that sense of love. That is a part of what I'm doing in my life. This is what Carolyn is trying to do, something to get a sense of peace, so she feels open to the world, so she can get this spiritual unity and find of love in the universe. That is what her life is actually about. That is what her trading is about. If she feels the sense of peace now and actually open to the world and finds love in the universe right now, that is the wealthy feeling that she wants. From that place, from that emotional state, trading, imagine this, Carolyn. Imagine you were trading with this sense of peace and open to the world and finding love in the universe. What difference would that make to your financial trading and investing? Do you think you'd make different decisions? Do you think you'd make different actions? Do you think you'd get different results? So all you have to do, Carolyn, is, and I appreciate that you guys can't see this because she's typing this to me, she's in the room, is get yourself to feel like that every single day. Think about 5 to 10 things where you experience that now in your life, in each of those. Put yourself in that state by associating into those situations. So you're seeing what you see, hear what you hear, you feel how good you feel, and then do your financial trading investing so you feel wealthy. Okay? Does that make sense, Carolyn? Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense to you?